I started doing non-profit educational organization in June 2019 because I was tired of just thinking. I wanted to do something. My aim is to teach critical thinking skills because I believe that this is the ultimate life skill. There are many ways to teach critical thinking skills. It's my belief that one of the most effective ways to teach anything is through stories. Humanity has always told stories. Then we began to write them down. Next, we put them on big screens. Then on small screens we called televisions. When I was a child, these were the only ways of telling stories: books, and of course magazines and newspapers, cinema and television. Then we put stories on small screens that we carry in our pockets. And the stories on screens were being used to make money. The more clicks a story gets, the more money the storyteller can get. So stories became shorter, and the number of stories grew exponentially. Meanwhile, people have become less inclined to read long format stories in old-fashioned books. That takes time. It takes effort. Why go to all that trouble when you can access short, exciting stories selected for you by algorithms? The saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. Therefore, I have decided to expand Doen to a YouTube channel to tell stories about real people. Complex stories. Stories from all sides of all coins. Stories to make us think about what we know, what we believe we know. Stories about who we are, and stories about who we can become. I believe that human beings are inherently good. I hope the stories I tell will contribute to rewriting the story of South Africa, the story of Africa, and the story of our planet. I call these stories Tales from Twitter. This is chapter 1. It's on restorative justice, and I credit Tracy Lomax, and she's asked me to credit Sheena Jonker of Access to Justice for this story. A thread posted by Max de Prier that he got from Tracy Lomax. A thread about restorative justice and the power of the divine within. 1. I was asked to represent some men pro bono facing charges of malicious damage to property, breaking and entering, and trespass. They were rubbish collectors. Homeless, these men collected rubbish and would recycle what they could to make a living. Their charges arose because they would congregate on vacant land to sort their rubbish. This vacant land belonged to a little old Jewish lady who had fenced it off. They cut the fence. Number 3. The city council fined her if her vacant property was not maintained. She'd inherited the property and was waiting for a developer to buy it. She didn't earn much and couldn't really afford the fines, 1,000 rand at a time. She got gatvol and called the cops on my clients. 4. I asked the prosecutor to divert to mediation, even though the complainant was against it. I asked to sit in on the mediation. It was one of the biggest eye-openers of my career. The little old lady, Lol, sat on one side of the table. Clients sat on the other. Lol held her voluminous bag on her lap, defensive posture. Clients were defeated men, living in the fringes of society, ready for abuse. Both sides oblivious to the other's reality. The mediator started by asking Lol to explain her position, which she did, using the usual entitled language of, "It's my land," etc. She then asked them why they didn't use their own yards to sort the rubbish. One said, "We have no homes, no space to do our work." 7. I saw her visibly sit back. She realized that these men were literally homeless. They used her land as a safe space to meet, sort the rubbish, and socialize. She started seeing them as humans. The mediator asked gently what the harm to her was. She told them that she had put up the fence because the city council fined her if her property was not maintained. They were shocked. They didn't know that their actions cost her money. As they spoke, I watched their body language change. She put her bag down and relaxed her posture. They leaned forward to engage her. The mediator said very little. He occasionally asked a question. They spoke. They listened. They heard. By the end of the mediation, she agreed to allow these men to use her land as a safe space to gather, provided they kept it tidy. In turn, they agreed to repair the fence and maintain the property. She offered to help to find them more formal and regular income. They walked out of that room, not as friends, but no longer as strangers. The power of mediation was brought home to me that day. The ties that bind us are stronger than what threatens to divide us. We just need to reach out, put down our baggage, listen. We are social animals. We want to cooperate. It's in our nature. We need to fight against those who would prefer to divide us. I'm eternally grateful for what I learned that day. So this story from Tracy Lomax was brought to me by Max de Pree. Max de Pree is a teller of stories, and because I believe in the power of stories, I want to punt Max's 3 books. Well, not his only 3 books, he's written many other books, but these 3 books are really special. They tell stories, unusual stories from South Africa's past. We need these stories, we need to hear these stories, we need to tell these stories. And I hope to create a new batch of stories. This was Tales from Twitter by Doen.